Good morning. Good morning. I'm so glad to see everybody this morning. I'm glad everyone was able to make it here safely, and hopefully the roads weren't too slick for y'all. I'm very excited about this morning. This is we're gonna do the 2024 ministry recap. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Tyler White. I am the deacon of involvement here, and let me just tell you, we're a very active congregation. We have lots and lots of really great ministries here, and if any of these, this morning we're going to hear from several of the leaders of particular ministries, kind of talk about what they did in 2024, as well as maybe what they want to do or maybe needs that they might have for the next year. And so if any of these this morning catch your eye, you might be thinking, I think I'd like to do that. I think that sounds like a really good place for me to serve. I'd love to do that. You can feel free to talk to me or talk to one of the men who stands up here and talks about that ministry. I'd like to start off this morning by reading Ephesians 4, verses 11 through 13. And he gave the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the shepherds and teachers to equip the saints for the work of ministry, for building up the body of Christ until we all attain the unity of faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, to mature manhood and to the measure of the stature of fullness in Christ. When I look at all of the amazing things that as a church we are involved in, I see a very mature group, very mature Christians, all giving so much of themselves to further advance the gospel and to further grow us as a body. I also look at our church motto, reaching further, moving closer, and growing deeper. And I think of, when I think of reaching further, I think of things like Beds for Kids, which you'll hear about in a minute. That's an awesome ministry that helps so many kids with critical needs in their lives, or missions, or community outreach, and the many works that Mark does there. When I think of moving closer, I think of things like Fall Fest or men's and women's ministry. I think of things that help grow us as a group in fellowship with one another. Growing deeper, when I think of that, I think of things like education. All of our classes. Randall does such an amazing job organizing all of our classes from cradle roll up until, old age, whatever we want to say, the whole lifespan. Randall does an awesome job with the entire lifespan. I think of things like VBS, which is an amazing event that we do in the summer, a great outreach to our community, but also for our own kids. They, you'll see in a little bit, but the kids had so much fun doing that each and every year. So this morning we're going to begin with the women's ministry, and I've got some notes that Stacy Grisham sent to me that I'm going to read some of those. So first off, there are classes on Wednesday morning and evening that are focused on spiritual growth, but there are some other things that are involved in those classes, things like collections for boxes that are sent to college students, collections of items or funds for children at Christmas time, and there are also many other things that those classes do. And next, there are year-round ministries, things like Sugar and Spice. Many of you I know have been involved in Sugar and Spice for the 2 years that we've done it, and I've only heard very positive reviews. I've heard that it's a great ministry and a great way to grow with our Christian sisters and to fellowship with one another, as well as the shower ministry as well, planning for wedding and baby showers, which we had several of those this last year. We had several babies born in 2024, as well as people getting married. There are also several annual events, such as Ladies' Day, which, as you can see in the picture, that was our speaker up there on the left. This last year, we were blessed to hear Lori Ann Wood, who is a local author, and tell her story of her divine detour. Now, that was all 2024. There are several excited things for this ministry in 2025. The first big event will be a women's ministry fair. So there's kind of going to be a reshuffling of this ministry, where Stacy and Cammie Jo have formed a committee for this group that are going to be planning all the events. Kind of a good way to organize all of the many aspects of this event kind of under one umbrella. And so there's going to be a ministry fair on January 22nd, where you'll be able to see all the many ways that you can be involved in. There will also be many fun events coming up this year. February 13th, go ahead and save the date, will be a Galentine celebration. Ladies' Day will be April 12th. So again, save the date on that calendar. You won't want to miss that. As well as some trips potentially coming up in the future.
I didn't have anything to put up on the schedule, but I'm one of the deacons for Benevolence, and Joe Hott works with me. And so, who's heard of the Shema? Okay, that is. Let me read it to you. It's what Jesus told the scribe when he asked him, "Who is or what's the greatest commandment?" And I'll read it out of Mark 12:28-31. Shema means hear you, but it starts out, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this, love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these." So that's a lot of things that the elders and the deacons do, is try to show their love to the congregation and to people that come in, and especially the ones Joe and I work with are the ones that ask for help. So we have sort of a tricky job of seeing who's trying to scam us and who really needs help. So, but I'm getting practice now. I think I've been doing this for a couple of years now. So we're, and we have names that repeat, and sometimes we realize that they're just coming in for more money because it's handy to get it from us. We help about 5 people every month, and then we run out of funds. And it's a pretty cut and dried program where we really don't have anything new for next year. If anyone has suggestions where we can maybe make it better, we're open to that. So let's thank you for supporting us, and let's move on to the next part.
Hello, I'm Mike Spencer. I lead the Beds for Kids program. It's if you wonder what it is, it's a program where we find out that there's kids that don't have a bed to sleep in, and we provide those beds. Typically, it'll be a call from a social worker at one of the schools. I think it's where we get most of our calls. They run into a student that maybe doesn't have a bed. Sometimes it's a case where some of you know personally, there's a lot of grandparents that are having to take in maybe one of their grandchildren to support, and maybe that happens, and then they need a bed for one of those kids. So we'll address that need. Sometimes it's DHS calls and says, we got a foster parent that's taking in a child, but they need a bed. So we'll provide that that bed for them. But just appreciate all the support that we get from the congregation. I know there's a lot of you out there that are supporting this effort, because when I make a mention in the on the Facebook page that I'm short on bedding, I start getting beds in a bag and pillows and mattress protectors. They start showing up here at church, and I'll take those home. So I sure thank you for that. It's been a pleasure to work with them. The guys that come help me build beds have just been tremendous. That's a picture of some of them down at the bottom, but so many people are helping out and for this ministry, and it does a lot of good for the Benton County. Oh, we did 76 beds this year, I should mention.
Hi, I'm Roger Arnold. Nice to be here on this beautiful, crisp morning. I'm responsible, I guess, in a way, for the Gospel Tracts International tract folding satellite program here at Bella Vista Church. And this is a great ministry, a great way. Shameless plug for my class on parables, but we just finished talking about the sower and the seed. And a lot of times these tracts that we fold and or send out to other countries fall by the wayside, but sometimes they fall on good soil, sometimes they don't. And we just pray that they produce a result that God has in mind, because it's all up to Him anyhow. But anyhow, we have a group of people that meet here on Thursday morning at 9:30. That way we can get out at 11:30 by lunchtime. We have snacks at 10:30. And some of us take a lot of coffee breaks because we're supervisors. But anyhow, I saw that, Bill. So but anyhow, it's a great ministry, a great way to extend our outreach here at the Bella Vista Church. So if you get a chance, we got plenty of room. We usually have 5 or 6 guys that actually staple the tracts. And then there's like 8 or 9 ladies that always outnumber us that fold the tracts. But anyhow, we could always use help. Come, if just once through the year, just come in and see what's going on. We would sure appreciate it. And I guess overall, I don't know if the numbers are up there or not, but we average on a weekly basis in our meeting about 2,500 tracts folded and stapled. So that's pretty neat. And again, those are all shipped overseas to foreign countries. Some of them, I'm sure, stay here in local areas as well. But anyhow, sowing the seed, there it is.
For the young adult ministry, as you can see, we total roster at the moment is 62. I've never thought to count that before. 62 adults on the young adult roster at the moment. We're up an average of 3 in Bible class, up an average of 9 in home Bible study. We now have 2 home Bible studies going, and down a little in social events. I did a really good job in 2024 of scheduling social events on top of other things that were going on, and so all my people were out of town, it seemed. So, but that's okay. And then we had 3 baptisms as well, and the plan for 2025 is to continue. So we've added some stuff to the calendar. You can see the calendar out on the bulletin board. My other ministry is care groups. And unfortunately, care groups is impossible to quantify the amount of work that goes into that because it's so decentralized into all of these groups. But countless meals and meetings and visits and phone calls back to invite people back. Care group serves a few purposes. One is the closing, what we used to call closing the back door ministry, where folks go missing for a little while, we invite them back. The other is fellowship, just to help. As we continue to grow, it gets more and more difficult to know each other, and so we've got all of these various kinds of small groups. Care group, one of them, men's ministries, women's ministries, all these young adult, growing in grace, all these kinds of intersectional small groups to help us get to know one another. It serves that as well. And then it's also the old casserole committee as well. Whenever somebody is sick or bereaved, we take food, and they are very effective in doing this. I say this constantly, but this is the most effective ministry of this sort that I've ever worked with. We have care group leader and co-leader appreciation lunch today. If you were a care group leader in 2024, please come have lunch with us, you and your family. We're giving everybody an option to, every year I give everybody an option to get off the bus if they so choose. And so you'll have that option today as well. But even if you are not going to continue as a care group leader in 2025, I still want you at lunch so that I can tell you thank you for your service to the congregation. There will be a small realignment, not a hard reshuffling, but a small realignment of care groups. Hopefully I'll have that ready for February 1 to get communicated to the congregation. We will, so anyway, that your care group is likely to not change, but it may, just with people moving and leaders stepping down and new leaders coming on, and we've got a different number of elders, so that's got to be reshuffled in this kind of thing, but that's coming in February. My other ministry is Children's Bible Hour that occurs during the first service, and so if you have a child and you're going to second service, I invite you to first service to be able to attend Children's Bible Hour. The highest number that we have had in there is 18 kids. We normally are around 10 to 12. They get a lesson on their level, and we're doing a curriculum called The Biggest Story, which means every 2 years, expository curriculum where every 2 years they rotate through the whole Bible, Genesis to Revelation. We did the birth of Moses last week, so we're making pretty good time. But they get a lesson on their level, and we have volunteers for all 12 months, and we have since the beginning. But what I have need for as far as Children's Bible Hour is concerned right now are substitutes. Whenever somebody cannot come, we have a need for substitutes. We also have a need for helpers. As this thing grows, we can't grow much larger before 2 people in the back are overwhelmed. And so the day that Ashley and I had 18, it was a little bit much. And so we're going to start adding helpers to that as well.
Good morning. I'm Mark Bagwell. My mission's over community outreach. Part of it is the van ministry. If you have a chance to join us with the van ministry, we have a good rotation of 6 people, and you slowly create relationships with these ladies that we pick up. And if there's some of you in the audience that are thinking about, maybe I shouldn't be driving anymore, we'd love to be picking you up with our van ministry. Let's see, the other thing, a monthly board game night. When you think of Jehovah's Witnesses that come around and knock on your door, and you notice in the neighborhood that nobody's opening their door, but they're trying their best to spread the gospel. We have a monthly game night of unreached church people. We have anywhere from 12 to 25 people that show up. 2 years ago, we did a convention. We had 150 people. So those of you that aren't gamers, this is your chance to practice being a disciple, to share the good news. And you don't have to play games, but just, we have food, bring a snack food. Good chance to meet some folks and spread the word and practice your chance of being a disciple. Matter of fact, we have a men's card game tonight. So if you want to practice being a disciple and you're not a card game player, at least you're going to be around fellow Christians and you can see, are you asking the right questions or are you being too intrusive? The next thing I have on here, I'll put my glasses back on. Cookies for Heroes. Anytime we have our women's shelter party or other parties, I try to deliver the leftover goodies that we had left to the fire station and also to the police officers. And they really appreciate them. And I appreciate you guys helping us out with those goodies and helping us out with the women's shelter. The women's shelter Christmas party is something we do every year. As you can see on the far right, Santa Claus awarded a girl that won a prize by playing some of the kid games. And was she very excited to hug Santa Claus? And these ladies, they're in a bad financial situation, which brings up another thing we do. It's called Lasagna Love. I mean, you talk about the beds for kids, not having beds. Imagine not having a food to eat. This isn't done through the church. This is a nationwide thing, and it's easy to sign up online. But you can go out there and you get put on a list. You can say, I want to do it monthly or quarterly, but they'll get a hold of you and you'll deliver lasagna to folks that are in desperate need, that need your help. So we had 76 beds. I bet there were at least 76 families out there that needed some lasagna love. Let's see if I got anything else. I do also help out with the video booth. We have a rotation of 5 people. It's done weekly. So you don't do all the services, you just do that particular service that you attend. Very easy as far as just pushing a button. If you don't know how to do a PowerPoint, we can train you in about 5 minutes. So if you're looking for a chance to expand your computer knowledge, you'll find out it's very easy and fun to do. You feel like you're kind of in charge of keeping this ministry going. And let's see here. We do bingo for our it's on Friday morning, so it's open to anybody, but we mainly get our senior citizens. And we have a blast playing games and having fellowship and fun. So if you all want to come out and join us for that, we'd love to have you. And I think that's all I've got. Thank you so much.
Good morning. I know we're a little behind on time, so I'll be quick. These are a few of the things that we've done with the men's ministry this year. Our goal is to offer a place for our men, all the way from our oldest to youngest, to be able to spend time together and build relationships. Because I think that's where discipleship starts, is you have to know each other well enough and have enough in common to be willing to share your life with one another. So these are a few of the things that we've done. And like Mark said, we've got a game night tonight. We'll have pizza. I think it's 6:00. It's on the calendar out there. So thank you very much for all you guys who've come. And I hope we'll have another good year and probably do a lot of the same things that were successful and change the ones that weren't. So thank you.
Good morning. Randall Hunt, honored to be the Deacon of Education here at Bella Vista. I just want to pause and just share appreciation for all of you and your presence this morning. It's such an uplifting piece as a congregation, as a body of believers, to support one another. And as the men get up here and to talk about their specific ministries and showcasing all the things that we have in active works here at this church and outreach beyond, we can't do it without your love and support, your prayers, your active works. And so just want to pause and say thank you. With that, as we continue on and reflecting on 2024 and what we accomplished in the Ministry of Education, to continue to keep our doors open from Cradle Roll, which is 6 months to 2 years old, all the way up to high school. And then, as Tyler eloquently stated, our seasoned veterans in our adult classes, having a lectureship in here, having some fellowship and opportunity in classes in the education wing, to the 40s and 50s, 20s and 30s. There is a place for you to be connected, to participate in your study, to grow deeper. And in that light, what I'm standing up here for today is to talk about 2025 and continue to grow with our student population and our needs in our classes is assistant teachers, direct lead teachers. Something that in taking over 4 years ago with COVID in mind and kind of restarting and open up our classes again safely was the need for teachers to be able to spread the wealth. Traditionally, since I've been honored to be here since 2010, there was a collection of ladies and men that predominantly did Wednesday nights, Sunday mornings, every single quarter, which was amazing to have that continuity, that consistency. But now we're starting to build into 1 quarter commitments, which is 12, 13 weeks on a Sunday or on a Wednesday, and be able to grow our capacity of our teachers as we try to plant that seed and grow our young minds to be confident leaders in all that they do with Christian mindset. Honored to say that we onboarded about 8 new teachers and assistant teachers this last year. Would encourage that to be very much the trend again this year as we continue to see the need. try to get a visual for you here at the end of the month on the bulletin board of what classes are in specific needs for lead teacher or assistant teacher. So be on the lookout for that. I'll add it in the bulletin as well for convenience when that comes time ready. If that pricks your heart to join into a class or get involved in that capacity, I would be honored to visit with you as well. I've been also tasked to share some good news and the excitement and welcoming of our next youth minister in Presley Williams. The committee did some diligent work at the beginning of the fall, at the end of the summer this past year, to find our next youth minister. It landed on a wonderful individual who's coming back home to Arkansas by way of Minnesota, and will be joining us here at the beginning of this next month. And so just encouraged and excited to see him involved right now digitally and remotely with our youth groups and our committee members, but will be here physically, I believe, the week of February 3rd. So look for a new face to be welcomed in that capacity as well. Thank you.
That's interesting. So Josh Porter, we're over buildings and grounds. So we've got a small group of people that have been taking care of our building and grounds for several years now. They do a great job of that. We got Gary McCool that does all of our building maintenance. We got Terry Roberts, does all of our lawn care. Bob Spall does our landscaping. And then Jim Brandstetter takes care of everything we need on the parking lot. So they do a really great job. Recap of last year going into this next year. As you all know, there's been a lot of discussion in the last couple of years about what we're going to do with this building, renovation, whatnot. Middle of last year, the elders decided that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at doing a renovation of this building. So we started the process probably about mid last year of getting that going. We created a small little task force. That task force did some research, did some investigating, and we found a consultant that we decided to go with. We got him on board just before Thanksgiving of last year. And I'm happy to say that he's probably going to start here at the end of this month. He's going to bring in a small team. We're going to do a survey of our building, of our site. They're going to look at what our needs are, and then they're going to give us a report on what their recommendations are moving forward. So you'll probably be hearing more about that as things unfold. Like I said, these guys do a great job keeping this building going. Just keep this ministry in your prayers, and appreciate your time.
Mike Martin with the food pantry. If you look at the picture up there, that's a full pantry, full of food. Let me tell you, it's been a challenge this year, but last Thursday, we opened up. We had 8 families come in needing food. Some of the families had 6, 7, one of them had 9 people in their family. We had to close the door at 11:15. We usually stay open until 12. We ran out of food. That's a lot of food on that. So we're helping a lot of people. 2024 has been a challenge for all of us. I mean, any of us that go to the grocery store and buy our own groceries know how the price has gone up on that. So people are really hurting in our community. And we had a total of 171 families this year that we supported and helped with food. If we look at that and see how many is in each family, we're looking at over 800 mouths that we put food in their mouth. That's awesome. That's awesome over a period of time. We have a great number of volunteers. We have over 15 ladies that help us every week. They don't all 15 show up, but we rotate and help us out in delivering this food to the people that come in and are needing our help. And we're glad to do that. We also have finally got some guys stepping up and are helping us and meeting these people as they come and speaking with them and talking with them about the gospel and about Christ. And we're happy to see that happening also. So we're looking forward to this year. We're going to try to do even better and we expect hopefully
the economy to get better and people won't need as much, but if they do, we want to be ready for them. We're open on Thursdays from 10 to 12. And the reason I'm telling you that is that we want to make sure that anyone that is in this congregation that absolutely needs help of any kind with food, there is no need to be hungry. We are more than willing to help you. We will meet you at any time. You don't have to come on Thursday. Just let me know, or let my wife Grace know. We will make it just the easiest possible to get you the food that you need. If you're here in this congregation and you know somebody that doesn't want to ask, let us know. We'll make it discreet, and nobody else has to know. And I think that's very important to know. Nobody goes around saying, oh, did you know so-and-so needed some help today? We don't do that. So never fear of that. And we encourage you to let us know if you have a need. We want to help those in our family as much as we do in our community. We thank you for all your time and effort that all of you have put forth in bringing food to us and putting volunteering with the food that you bring and put into the little basket out there, and we put it into the pantry, and we appreciate that. Every bit helps. We appreciate the monetary offerings that have been given through the year through individuals. That adds to everything that we do. We appreciate it so much, and we look forward to 2025.
I'll apologize on the front end. I don't have any cool pictures and rosters and all of that kind of stuff. But a couple of things. First, for missions, 2024 truly for me was an inspirational year working with this congregation in regards to missions. Our general support went again this year to supporting things like Brother Ashcraft going to Africa and doing the wonderful work that he's doing there, as well as Javier and Helmer in Bogota, and things like World Bible School and Gospel Tracts International and 21st Century Global Missions and the like. But there's like two events that occurred during 2024 that really encouraged me and hopefully encouraged you. And one was our ability to help the work in Bogota jump exponentially in their need to get a location of their own. The generosity that this congregation showed tells me that there is a heart for spreading the word, not just across the street, but everywhere. Romans 10, Paul tells us that missions is vitally important, that it's important for people to hear the word. But for them to hear the word, two things are required: those to go and those to send. And so for 2025, I can tell you we are going to be even more focused on embracing those two things. Not just sending, but going. I was very encouraged by the exploration trip that Corey and Hayden went on to Ecuador. And a lot of good has come out of that, and hopefully we're going to see more of that we're going to be able to engage in that work more and get boots on the ground, if you will, as well as continue to help in the work in Bogota achieve their goal this year. So I'm excited to see what 2025 brings as we focus deeper on going and sending. Also, I was asked to speak about growing in grace. I do have some pictures on there. I didn't know. This is AKA the 40s and 50s group. We did do a name change partway through the year, just because 40s and 50s seemed kind of, bookends that weren't accurate. But 2024 was a great year, again, of developing this group, developing and laying a strong foundation for community and relationships. I've seen some fantastic relationships grow within this group, and providing the ability for them to have a sense of identity that for some was lost. As speaking in this group, right, as we enter into the empty nest stage of our life,
Sometimes we lose our sense of identity, not just in life in general, but in the church, because we've been so involved, so engaged in the things that surround our children, that when the children are gone, we don't know what to do, because there wasn't anything for us, really, until you get into the senior saints group. It's a better word than old people, Tyler. Okay. And it really has been a great year for developing those relationships and that sense of identity and that group. And I've been very, very proud and humbled to be a part of this as we continue to grow in our identity for the household of God. And coming up for 2025, I think is going to be, as we continue to grow, we're going to grow in our ability to accept some fundamental truths about ourselves that culture says is difficult or says is wrong. And I'm sure you can all echo this with me, because there are words in Scripture that our culture says would be arrogant of us to say. But Scripture says things like, we're saints, not sinners. We are perfect. We are holy. We are blameless. We are innocent. And we're going to focus 2025 on accepting those things about ourselves more, so that we can, according to what Paul says in Philippians, that we can be better examples to the world around us. And so I'm excited to see where we go this year with that. And the last thing, and this is just for the congregation as a whole, the Growing in Grace adult group is sponsoring a cruise in 2026. We're going to, in July of 2026, we are going to the British Isles and doing a 12-day cruise from Great Britain to Ireland to Scotland, France, and back to London. We currently have, I believe, 26 people that have already, just through a soft kind of getting the information out, that have already booked their rooms or signed up. And we'd love to take over the entire ship. It would just be absolutely great. I'm so looking forward to the trip. We're going to have an informational meeting, if you will, on Wednesday, I wrote it down and then I forgot, 2 weeks from this Wednesday, whatever date that is. I think the 29th at 6 o'clock in our classroom. So if you are at all interested in getting more information, you don't have to wait till the meeting. You can come to Train RI. But we would love to have everybody that's already signed up, as well as those that are interested, to join us for that. I think it's just going to be an absolutely great time for all of us. That's it.
Good morning. My name is Aaron Sloan. I'm the deacon that gets to talk to you about all things church tech right now. Our AV work that we do, our audio-visual, actually includes a little more than that. We have the networking, so the Wi-Fi that you might use to help research, or that the teachers are using in classroom, the communications between the devices, just between the computer and the printer. That's my group. Of course, any miscellaneous computer support that pops up in-house here, we kind of support that. We have a mixer board for the audio work. So right now, everything that you're hearing, somebody's working that station, and that's being managed, and we really appreciate that group. Mark already talked about the projector crew. Of course, we always need more volunteers. We have 2 services. That's 2 rotations that need to be supported. So we are always looking for anybody that would like to come in and just push a button to advance slides. That's a big help. And then, of course, we have the web streaming ministry. We have only 3 operators right now who are running the web station, the stream, if you will. So right now, if you go out and look at YouTube or Facebook, what we're saying is being sent there. That's a really important thing that we do as new members, as new potential members move into the community and they're looking for a church. They're going to be searching, looking to see what our service looks like. There are those who would like to be here and cannot for whatever reason. Either they're sick or something else is stopping them from getting here, and this is how they get to worship with us. So we need to remember that. Any support that we can give to that, if you can volunteer to help fit in that rotation, we will provide training, and we look forward to anybody that wants to learn and participate. Thank you.
I think I'm last, so we'll finish with talking about Fall Fest, Easter egg hunt, and VBS. I'm Austin Bishop. I guess if you'll go ahead and switch to fall, I'll start with Fall Fest and Easter egg hunt since those are a little bit shorter. But we had our Fall Fest, our second one of doing it this way last year. It was an awesome time, huge success. I know we already talked about it a little bit, but just to recap, we had 500 that ended up showing up. That was double from the year before as well. But the biggest part about this past year was we also had a baptism. And it was a perfect example of, as far as Fall Fest goes, it's not the most biblically centered, like facing, I guess, event we do. And I hope you know what I mean by that. Like VBS, we get to talk about Jesus. It wasn't the intention of Fall Fest. It's a community event just to get to people come see who we are, right, and what we do. And hopefully we'll come to those things. And even still, a girl shows up that day and is asking to be baptized. And it led to a great conversation that Corey got to have with her and her family, and then again, ultimately her being saved. So what an awesome time. You never know when those moments are going to happen. So we were very thankful for that. Next Fall Fest will be same time this year, October 26th. Again, if you haven't been to that includes trunk or treat. It's kind of an all-encompassing thing. The biggest thing always is just your involvement coming to that. It's an event. It's a big deal. Just having people to come do trunks. We had, I think, 17, 19 trunks maybe. So that was a really awesome thing. Easter egg hunt as well. That one's the one that's coming up. April 20th is our current date for that. Again, that one is great because it is centered around, the resurrection of Jesus, and we get to talk about that, and then just have some fun outside with egg hunt. At least how it worked last year. That's always weather depending, but it was really, really good time last year as well. And so, yeah, that's the Easter egg hunt. I know that also, though, since we're doing VBS this year, we'll have to be talking about, not VBS, Latch the Leaders. That is usually the same weekend, so we'll definitely be in some conversations about that and how it looks. But so now back to VBS. We'll finish with VBS. That is also our big one coming up this summer as well. This summer's dates are July 20th through 23rd. So mark your calendars for that. The theme is Heaven is Sweet. And so it's going to be a Candyland theme, which I need to go back and play that game again. I know I've played it. It's been a while, though, but that's the theme. I've already gotten to go on a quest to find Candyland-themed decorations with my wife. We spent quite the time at home and bought a ton of sweets, fake sweets, but you know what it is. So it's going to be great. 6 to 8 p.m. is the time each night. The biggest thing always, and this is really with all three of these events, we need a ton of help always with decorations, crafts. This is specific VBS, crafts, snacks, games, and of course the classes. And with those, it's always decorations and crafts. We always need help providing those, but we certainly always just need help, helping in the day, in the moment, with those actual activities. Usually we'll have people that are leading that, in charge of it, so you don't have to be too worried about leading, a part of those aspects, but just having numbers there to help always makes a huge difference. We're really hoping for some, again, to increase our numbers for VBS as well this year, to have 100 or 200 kids or so come. That would be really awesome. So, and as always, invite your friends. So, are you going to come back up here or you want me to close? Okay. We'll close too. We'll say, as we've all listened to all these ministries, there is a quote that I've heard out there. Maybe you have too. I just want to say it because, it's something that has definitely stuck with me from various places that I've heard it. It's, 100% of the work in a church is done by 10% of the congregation. I don't know if you've heard that before. I don't think that is this church, but I just say that as we're looking to 2025, if that's ever been on your mind, if you ever heard that, I hope that we can commit that Bella Vista is not going to be that statistic, right? That we're all going to be all in, not because the track folding or the men's ministry or the building and grounds or the food pantry, not because that in itself is the most important thing, but the glory of God is the most important thing. And that's why we do these things. We can show that in things other than the ministries you heard here today. But I hope that people come here and visit us and they see, Bella Vista Church of Christ, they really are kingdom workers. and every single person. I didn't leave. I hope we are overwhelming people with the help we provide, that I can look at Tyler and say, hey, Tyler, I don't need you. We got too much help already. I don't have a job for you, I hope that we can do that. So good goal for us as we go into 2025, as we're looking to be involved and be kingdom workers. We'll close with a prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this day, just to be able to wake up again and enjoy creation, enjoy the earth, and enjoy all its blessings and riches, Lord, and the weather that you provide, and the snow, just to enjoy that and the beauty that it brings, Lord. Thank you so much for the ways in which you've blessed each of us and the ways in which you've allowed us to be healthy to be here today. But Lord, we certainly pray for those who cannot be here today, who are dealing with their health battles in their regard. Lord, just be with them and help them, help us be able to be there for them as well. And in whatever way we can. Lord, as we look to 2025, be with us as we are promoting the kingdom, Lord, for the world and able to shine our light for you, Lord, and that people will see what we are doing here and will see it and be able to search that in their hearts themselves and hope that we can bring people to Christ as much as possible. Lord, help us all to be involved in that. Help us all to have the energy and the passion to be able to be there, Lord, and do what we can do while we're here on this earth. Thank you for Jesus, his death on the cross, and all that means, Lord, and the salvation that it brings. And we pray all these things in his name. Amen.